Hi everyone, and welcome to another season of the GameFace Netball Show. It's been a really long time between shows, but we've kicked the season off, and so let's hope we can go through an uninterrupted season 2021. So we're back on court, and yeah, it's been a long time since finals, which were in September 2019. So I know that the footballers kind of kept a day count between games. I didn't quite do that with the netball for us, but geez, it's been a long time. We will have a chance to look at what's changed with our teams and what has kept us all entertained through COVID while we're all in lockdown. But before we do that, let's talk about some changes that we have at the netball show this year. So you'll notice that that Sam's not with us today, and that's because she has stepped aside to pursue her passion, which is she's a parent consultant, so you can check her out online. But you can, I'd like to welcome our new co-host tonight, and that's Anna Mace.
Thanks for having me, Christy.
You're welcome. It's great for you to be here. So before we keep going, let's take the opportunity to get to know you a little bit more. So tell me about Anna Mace.
Oh, geez, this is probably a hard topic. So netball-wise, I've been around the Mornington Peninsula for a long time. I actually started at Mount Eliza prior to the divisions going together. Mm-hmm. I played a few years there, then I did my first ACL, had a few years off and just stayed away from netball for about 4 years. And then I decided to come back and do some coaching and playing at Coringal. But this time around, I'm now at Frankston Bombers.
Ooh.
Yeah, so
jump ship.
Yeah, I've stepped away from coaching altogether at Footy Netball League. And I'm just playing and just really looking forward to getting on the court and enjoying it. So still doing a little bit at Waves and assistant coaching the under-19s with Adrian Harris and Chris Vickery, which is awesome. But yeah, netball-wise, I'm just playing footy netball and just loving the fact that I get to run around on the court and don't have to dictate anything. Absolutely.
Now, 4 years ago, did you say that you did your ACL? Or longer?
Sorry, I should have said I've done 2 ACLs now. So my first one was in, I want to say 2015, and I had about 3 years off or just over. And then I got 3/4 of a season out after coming back from that one and did my ACL again. It was basically 3 years to the day of my
because
first
I think
ACL.
one of those was against us on court.
No bad blood or anything.
No, because that's what I was thinking. I was like, was it that long ago?
Yeah, my second one was against you guys in the semi-final.
Yeah, and it's fantastic to know that you're back on court. Yeah. And there's so many girls, unfortunately, in our sport that suffer ACL injuries, and it's always just a real positive to hear that someone can, well, like yourself, has gone through 2 of them and still can make it back out on court. So
yeah, it's been good. It's a hard slog. I thought the second one would be easier to come back from. But it's probably been a bit harder. I've been a bit more nervous to, take that step onto the court and take on my opponent or whichever. But yeah, slowly getting there. But now it's just get that fitness back. But we'll get there with that part.
And coming up to playing your first round with Frankston Bombers. Yeah, looking forward to it. Yeah, got the full kit ready to go.
Haven't got my dress just yet, but I'm so excited to get it on. That black and red kind of looks nice.
Yeah.
So I can't complain.
They are good colours. So, and I have played for Frankston Bombers myself. So, it's a nice little dress to be taking out on court. Well, thank you, and it's so good to have you, and we're looking forward to hearing all of your your knowledge about both divisions, I guess, this year. So having played I keep saying last year, but we didn't take the court last year, so 2019 in Division 2 and now playing Division 1, so it's going to be awesome to hear your take on what's happening across both divisions, I think, this year. And as you'll all see that Lou Ma will be joining us again this year. She's just absent tonight because work has kept her back. So that's what pays the bills. So we'll let her away with that tonight. All right, so what we'll do now is we'll just have a look at what games were played for Division 2 last weekend, which was Easter weekend. There were a few games that were played through Division 1, but because the whole round hasn't been played, we will look at that next week when we go through after all the games have been completed. So it was an interesting one over Easter for Div 2. I think we spread the games out across pretty much every day that was available. So we had Pearsdale actually played their games as a home game the week prior to Easter, which in hindsight was an amazing thing to have done. I thought, why didn't we think of this when,
weekend, 4 days with nothing.
Absolutely.
Enjoy that special sunshine.
Oh, and, just allowing everybody to be able to get away for Easter. So kudos to whoever came up with that idea, and I've put that in my my memory bank for next year. So they played on the week prior. Then we had teams who played on the Thursday night, which I did, prior to Easter to give all the girls the opportunity to get away for that 4-day break. And then Crib Point and Chelsea also played on the Saturdays. So for them, they didn't quite get as big an Easter break. And as a result, there was 3 clubs that came away with a clean sweep. So every game, every team that took the court coming away with a win, and that was Pearsdale, Chelsea and Langwarrin. And I'd just like to, I guess, probably do a shout out to Pearsdale who had the clean sweep. I think that will be the first time that that's happened for the Pearsdale club for a significant period of time. Yeah, so just looking now at what the games were, calling out some close games. So the C grade in Mornington versus Coringal. So it was probably one of the closest games of the round, and that was Mornington 37 to Coringal 39. So a really close game there. But other than that, it just was a whole round of blowouts, I think. There was some huge margins across the grades. And it's hard to know over Easter whether that's because players are away, whether, they're injured or, if there's just been some changes across the club. So I'd be really looking forward to getting some feedback from all of you, from your clubs, to message through to let us know what's kind of happening at your club. But some of the biggest margins that we saw over the weekend was in B grade, Chelsea 71 versus Crib Point 17. So that was a pretty big margin there. And also another B grade game was Tyab 63 versus Rise 16. So and in both of those games, across all of their grades, there seemed to be some pretty big margins. So don't know if it was because like the Crib Point versus Chelsea game, it might have been because it was held on Easter Saturday.
Yeah.
A lot of the girls might have been away, or there might just not be as many girls who are, coming back to play in 2021. So time will tell. Likewise, if there's anyone there who wants to shout out and fill out the information, then, please go and do that for us. So to email through to the GameFace Facebook page, or either Anna or I shoot us through some information personally. So tends to be where we get the best information. There's a lot that's happened since we last went to air. What have you heard, Anna?
In terms of MPNFL, I think there's actually been a fair few changes. I know that for one, at Bombers, we are getting a new court resurfaced as well, which is super
interesting.
Exciting.
Yeah, so you're still just going to keep the one court?
Yeah, still having the one court. But yeah, going to be brand new surface, bunch of lights. So it'll be really good. Have a nice fence around it so we can have some sponsor signage up on it. But yeah, the girls are really looking forward. At the moment, we're training at FDNA. But we're dying to get out on that court so we can be nice and close to our club rooms and everything.
So you had the asphalt?
Yeah.
And what are you moving to?
That the coloured concrete. So we're having red with some beautiful white lines.
Yes. Interesting.
Oh, good.
Okay. And so when's that due to be ready?
I think round 4 we're due to be ready with that one. But yeah, like I said, we're hanging out to be able to get there and be, part of the club a bit more.
Absolutely. And so when are your, how many home games have you got in the first few rounds?
I think we've only got the one.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so
okay.
that's worked out
and that'll
well.
play at FDNA?
Yeah, we'll play at FDNA. We'll play Mount Eliza. And then we'll head down to the footy and support the boys.
Yeah,
together.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
there's also some new courts. Talking about courts, we've got new courts at EDS, which, I think that's been a long time coming, and, it's a big club and they're a very successful netball team. So to have those courts there now located next to their footy ground, I'm sure they'll be pretty pumped about that. And Langwarrin are doing the similar thing to you. They've gone out and got a new court surface. So
yeah, their courts are going to be fantastic. There's something like 6 courts there or something.
Absolutely. So I'll actually give you a rundown next week because we're playing them tomorrow.
Oh, beautiful.
So I'll be on those Langwarrin courts and, so hopefully we can come away with some wins there.
Yeah.
But we'll test those courts out for them. Seaford and Dramana have both got new courts coming, so that's a bit exciting. I know Seaford have had a full redevelopment down there since the ground was closed down with the train works and things like that. So Seaford have that single court down there with, I think they've got cricket nets beside it, which will be a space for us to warm up on prior to the games. But yeah, exciting times that both Seaford and Dramana will also be coming away with some new courts. So it's exciting times to have so many courts next to the grounds. It does really kind of bring it together.
Yeah, exactly right.
Absolutely. What else have you heard that's news?
We've had a few new dresses that pop up.
Yep.
I believe you guys at Somerville have a new dress.
Yeah, we released a new frock in our game last week.
Yeah, did you guys get up and do a bit of a catwalk down the court or anything?
No, we didn't.
I remember you guys used to dance to Jack, Jack, Jackie at the before your game, so I thought there might have been a little bit of a musical number somewhere. Is that coming back?
We still do, and this is my team, we still do an aerobic warm-up.
I love it.
Yeah, to the music.
I love it.
So,
I can't wait to see it in the new dress with the
so we're changing songs this year though, so stay tuned. Yeah, I might get some footage for you.
We're going to have to get a film of this and get it up on GameFace, I think.
Yeah, so we do have a new dress. We're really excited. It's we've introduced a lot more yellow into the dress just to be able to distinguish ourselves against a lot of the clubs that are a blue base. So no, it looks good.
Yeah, and I think Coringal have got a new dress as well from memory.
Yes.
I think theirs is it's still red, all red, and it's got the nice white panels down the side. And it's still got the Bull logo on it and looks fantastic on the court. I went down and watched the girls last week, and they look fantastic. They're really flattering, and every girl had it on. Yeah, so it's going to look really good across the teams with them.
They definitely stand out, that full red block dress. You wouldn't have any hesitation when you turn around to look at who's your teammate. It definitely stands out. And I think Wang Warren actually have also updated their dress. It's very similar to what they had, but they've just kind of given it a few little tweaks. So, I'll be interested to see what they look like tomorrow when we take them on.
Yeah.
And I guess the other thing too, which is really good to see leading into 2021, is the under-17 comp still being up and running. So Frankston Bombers, you tend to, and I don't know how much you're aware of, have a big under-17 squad. Is that still the case?
Yeah, so the under-17s, I don't know how big it is, but they've got a really nice team. They've from what I've seen at trainings and everything, they have been on the ball, and they're all really raring to go. So, and they've really come together and gelled from what I've seen of the development over pre-season. I'm really excited to get there and watch the 17s. I love watching the 17s. It's nice to see that up and coming talent that are coming through. Yeah, I've
actually stepped back from coaching A grade this year, and I've taken on the under-17 team. Yes.
How's that going?
I love it. They're fantastic. And unfortunately, we had a bye in, we were one of the only teams, the only under-17 side that didn't take the court last week.
Yep.
So we're going to be playing our first game tomorrow against Mornington.
Yep.
So I'm really looking forward to having them out on court. We've had a few practice matches.
Yep.
But it's fantastic. It's the first time that we've had under-17s at Somerville.
Yeah, that's really exciting. I was going to say you guys didn't have 17s in 2019.
No.
Have you got a big group with you?
No, not a two. We've got a team of 10. It was at one stage I didn't know if we were going to get a side together after COVID. We had a side leading into 2020, and then some of those players were turning 18, and so weren't eligible to be in the under-17s. And so almost needed to start recruiting from scratch, and didn't think that we would end up having an under-17s team, which I was disappointed with. Yeah. But it was good that some of those younger girls were able to come into our senior sides. Yeah. But we did, and I went from scratching around having 5 or 6 players to all of a sudden having too many. Yeah. And then from circumstances, a couple of the girls weren't able to play. We've ended up with a squad of 10. It's a real good mixture of some experienced players, some of the Peninsula girls, right through to, all of them being local girls too, which is fantastic.
I was just about to say they're local girls.
Yeah.
Girls are usually pretty good like that.
Yep. So I think most of them, or if not all of them, have come up through the Somerville Junior Netball Club, which is brilliant. and just really looking forward to it, just to bringing a different dynamic to the club.
Yeah, there's something about the under-17s or, the underage girls, and they're just so eager and they're like sponges. As soon as you say something, they take it on and they go out there and do it.
Yeah.
It's so good to see.
Yeah, and seeing some of them taking the court in our senior teams too, I think we will this year, which is fantastic and gives them experience against some of the older bodies and the more experienced, which will just, hopefully get them playing for the club for a long time. All right, so if there's anything else that's happening at your club that we haven't spoken about tonight, we would love to hear. So please shoot us through the info so that we can talk about it in next week's show, particularly with the player milestones. I think it's really something that it's worth celebrating, girls that have made, whether it be 50 games, 100 games. And I'm just looking back, I think this will be our 10th year of footy netball.
I think so, yeah.
So it would have been our 11th if we played last year. So 10 years of out on the court. So if you consider kind of that 18 to 20 odd games a year, there's going to be some people now that are hitting some pretty big milestones. So if you've got a player that you want to shout out to, please let us know so that we can celebrate that for them. We touched on it with you earlier, is injuries and things like that. Again, I've heard there's a few people around the clubs that have suffered from injuries. Have you heard any? Is Frankston gone through unscathed over the COVID off season?
I think over the off season they've done pretty well. We did have I had a couple of ankles rolled, just during match play, etc.
Bit of soft tissue stuff.
Yeah, but we did have one of our girls, Al. She went down, she's done her knee, so she's unfortunately out for the season, just in training during match play. So that's really disappointing for her. But other than that, I think we've come out pretty unscathed. But yeah, there's injuries left, right and centre, unfortunately. Again, like you said, it comes with the turf, doesn't it, playing netball?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a brutal sport and it does nothing for our bodies. I know that there's a few injuries that are around. There's a certain A-grade coach that will remain anonymous at this stage, but she put a post on her, I think it was her Instagram or her Facebook or something like that, with a bit of a poll asking whether she should dust off the ankle braces and she should take the court again.
I didn't see that poll.
Yeah, just because she's had a few injuries at their club. I think a couple of girls with serious injuries and also one of those pregnancy injuries that every club does face from time to time. So, yeah, she's considering whether she wants to jump out on court. We've had a couple at Somerville, so we've still got quite a few girls to come back across A and B grades.
That's exciting though. It's something to look forward to. But the hard yards, that's the hard part, going through that rehab, etc.
Yeah. So thankfully nothing too significant, touch wood. But yeah, just enough to keep them out for the first few rounds. And it was a lot of the pre-season as well, so they'll need to get their fitness back and do all of the hard work before they get back out on court. So if there's anybody again that's I don't know, it's really challenging when you've had the whole year off and then potentially you're suffering an injury now and not able to take the court. Then our thoughts are with you and we hope you all have a speedy recovery.
Big shout out though, Adrian Harris. You smashed your rehab and it was really nice to see that she got back on the court this weekend.
Absolutely. Yeah. It just proves, doesn't it? Like, and you're a perfect example, and Adrian as well, is that if you do all your rehab, you do it well, then your netball career is not over. You can take the court again and be out there with your girls.
There's also walking netball down at FDNA for the niche, which I feel like I'm going to be there pretty soon.
Hey, I'll be there a lot quicker than you are. I don't even know if I can do walking netball, let alone.
I think we might be too competitive for walking netball.
Who, you or me?
Both of us.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you get penalised if you jump.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I don't jump in a normal game. So I should be fine. Okay, I guess last but not least, what I think a lot of people tune in for each week, and we don't have anything now other than that little tidbit that I might have given you away for that senior coach, is just around the club gossip. So if there's anything that any fun things that we should know about, please let us know. You know that it's anonymous. Just message us directly or in through to GameFace directly, and hope to be sharing that with you. So we generally like to try and find a piece of juicy gossip from each of the divisions each week. It's funny how sometimes we get bombarded with it, and then sometimes we're really scraping around to see kind of what's going on. So that comes from you guys. So if you don't let us know, then, we've got our fingers on the pulse, but not always.
Not always, no.
Yeah. And we don't always want the dirty, all the dirt from Somerville.
No, we don't need all the dirt from Somerville.
No, you don't. No, you don't. Yep. So send that through to us as well. And particularly, there's a lot of clubs that, I don't have huge connections with. So I probably rely on those clubs to get through to me more so than ever, so that, we can give you guys a little bit of information around, what's going on. Yeah.
Even just funny things, funny little videos.
Yeah.
If anyone's got some funny finds they might hand out.
Yes.
I love a good find.
Yes. Well, you should be up for that now at Frankston, I would suggest.
Please don't give them any ideas, because I've just introduced it and I feel like I'm going to be putting $50 in there.
Well, go towards your end of season trip. That's good.
That's dangerous.
Yes. All right. Last but not least, we're just moving into round 2 for Division 2, and Division 1 will be, there's a few games that have started off already, but you'll finish off round 1. Do you know what that happened? Why it's such a big split?
I actually don't know why.
No, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Because then I think all of your games have the following week off. Is that right?
I don't think so. I think we play all the way through. We play, and then we don't have a round off until
Queen's birthday. Yeah, okay. We'll have to wait and see. But I think there's 2 or 3 games that have been played, and then there's a couple that are being played tomorrow. Yeah, so we'll come back to you around what's happened with Division 1 games next week on the show. But for me, what I'm looking forward to seeing tomorrow, I think, is the Tyab versus Hastings A-grade side. Tyab, I feel like this is the...
Wow.
Yes, but I feel like this is the old band that's come back together.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, so this is, it's almost, there's a lot of Tyab premiership players in their side, and I don't know.
Nice to see, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
See that group back together.
Yeah, and they're a great bunch of girls, and I just think that for whatever reason, whether they've, from work commitments or just having a break from the sport, kind of went their own way, and now they've all come back together. So whoever's part of the recruiting at Tyab's done a great job. I think once you maybe get 1 or 2 on board, then maybe the rest follows. Yeah. And then they're taking on Hastings. Now we had Hastings last week, so last Thursday before Easter, and they had a ripper A-grade side. So it'd be really interesting to see whether they are able to line that side up every week, or whether it was just a one and only and we just took the brunt of it.
Yeah.
But if they can have that same side versus Tyab, that'll be a ripper game. And the other one that I'm really interested to see is the Chelsea versus Coringal C-grade side. So Chelsea had a huge win against Crib Point last week. And Coringal, I think, and you would know from Coringal when you were there, I think the C-grade side almost went through undefeated for the entire season. They were the benchmark, I think, for C-grade. Yeah. So it'd be interesting to see whether Coringal have still got that, and Chelsea, who had the big win, whether balance that out.
It'll be interesting. I think actually across a lot of the grades with the Chelsea Coringal games, it will be really tough for both teams. I think Chelsea have got really strong across the board, and Coringal have always had really strong across the board as well. It'll be really interesting, the whole lot with Chelsea and Coringal.
Absolutely. Yeah, Chelsea had a huge round 1. So I think they've put their stamp on it saying, guys, we're here and we're serious and we're out to win. So there was some really great results. So tomorrow with the round 1, YCW versus Pines. I would have asked Lou about YCW if she had been here tonight, but she's not. We took on YCW in a pracky match, but I don't know much about Pines. Are you any wiser on those two?
I'm actually not, to be honest. I haven't had a chance to have a look at many of the Division 1 teams.
You'll be coming in fresh.
Years. Yeah, I'm coming in very fresh. So I'm looking forward to just sitting there and getting an idea of what Division 1 netball looks like.
Yep.
Because, like I said, I haven't been around Division 1 netball for a fair few years now.
Yeah.
And so I'm really excited.
Yeah, it'll be good, I think, coming in and just not knowing your competitors and just, that's refreshing, I think. Sometimes it can be a little bit repetitive playing against kind of the same sides. But having played YCW, they're a great bunch of girls. They really pushed our sides. So I'm going to tip YCW in those games. And then there's your new side versus one of your old sides.
Yes, it is.
So, but do you know many faces that are still down at Mount Eliza?
I actually don't know any.
There you go.
There's been a lot of change down there from my understanding. I know a couple of girls purely from work or around the traps. So I'm looking forward to, I think it'll be a decent game.
Okay.
We're going in raring to win though. Sorry, Mount Eliza.
And what team are you able to give away? Which team you're going to line up in tomorrow?
I'll be lining up in the B grade team.
Yep, fantastic.
Tomorrow, yeah.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm a little bit nervous, but I think after the first couple of minutes, I won't even know.
Absolutely. It's like riding a bike, get back out there.
Everyone says that, but I feel like a baby giraffe at the moment.
If only you were tall enough to be called a baby giraffe.
Yeah, true, maybe a baby elephant.
Stop it. Good luck to all the teams that are playing tomorrow. Don't forget to upload your scores live throughout the day on the GameFace record app. If your club isn't updating the scores, inbox the GameFace page and they can send you the link so you can get the scores up. I know when I was watching the games over the weekend, it was frustrating to not know what was going on. So get those up live so we can check them all out. We'd like to thank again our sponsors who make our show possible. So our friends at Frankie Media have got your total business solutions sorted. If you need business cards, flyers, posters or signage, head to frankiemedia.com.au. That's about it for a show.
I can stop shaking now.
You can finish your wine and have a deep breath.
Yeah, pretty much. Might go finish the bottle.
So that is it from us tonight. Like I said, wishing you all the best for your games tomorrow. Hopefully the weather is as great as it was last week. Have a great night. Cheers.
Get your game face on.